I know what you're thinking. Values in San Diego are way, way up for real estate, and it's time to sell that home, move on to the next one, or move out of state and take that cash to the bank. But before you do that, we need to hear from my good buddy, Vinnie Enriquez, who's here. What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
So, top tips before you list your home for sale in
Yes.
San Diego. Give it to me.
Oh man, there's so many things. I mean, I think people talk about the idea of doing a home inspection before you actually put it on the market.
Pre-listing inspection.
Pre-listing inspection. I veer away from this.
You don't like it?
I veer away. Everything you learn about the property, you have to disclose in California to the other side right there. So
Everything?
Yeah, everything you know for fact, you have to disclose on the SPQ and the TDS.
So if you do a pre-listing inspection, does that mean you just basically need to hand over the inspection to the buyer? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had one person that were on the buying side of it, and they had a chimney sweep go to the property, right? They never told us that they had a chimney sweep go to the property, but we saw during the inspection that there's some stuff that was going on. So the inspector said, hey, you should get a chimney sweep here. So we went on Yelp, which a lot of people do, right? The first chimney sweep goes, well, we can't go to that property. And I was like, why can't we go to the property? They go, oh, we've been there before. Oh, you've been there before? And they go, yeah, we can't do it. So we basically signed an agreement with the people so we can't go there. And so I go, okay, fair enough. We talked for a long time. He goes, but I would suggest you probably get another chimney sweep to go to the property. And I go, oh, fair enough. So we got another chimney sweep. Basically, the chimney was in the core of the house, and it was breaking down, and it would have affected the whole infrastructure of the house over time.
Oh my God.
But the sellers, even though they got the chimney sweep to go there before we got there, they said that the guy was trying to scam them for money, so that's why they didn't disclose it. So there would have been a huge lawsuit if we didn't find out and call that chimney sweep. Yeah, so
you got to be careful when you're selling your home. You have liability.
Liability right there.
You have liability.
So that would take my next thing, right?
Okay.
Most people buy off emotion, right? Most people buy off emotion when they're buying a house. There's a stat of basically people usually know in the first 5-10 seconds of walking into the property, right, if they're going to buy the property, right? So if you're looking to list your house, right, you're going to want to beautify the property, right? It's the small things, right, that are going to basically sell the property. It's even the smaller things that are not going to sell the property. So you see, oh, well, I just changed out that little blot on the ground over there. I changed that out. I go, they're probably not going to notice that. Mm-hmm. They probably won't notice that. Well, I did it. I want value because of that. Well, that's not going to have value. Now, if you have which I've had before, a purple living room, right? I advise the client, hey, we might want to paint this right here.
You do want to paint that.
You might want to paint this.
Now,
right?
purple's a beautiful color.
Yeah.
But not on the wall.
Yeah, so it was purple, and they were like adamant that they don't want to paint it. They want to paint it. And I was like, okay, fine, we'll put it on the market. So we put it on the market. Of course, we did all our marketing stuff where we send the mailers out, the calling, we'd open houses, everything like that. Got a lot of showings on it, not a single offer.
Not a single offer?
We took it off the market. This was a couple years back, not in this market. But we took it off the market. We painted it, right? And 3 weeks after, we put it back on the market. First week on the market, same price, mind you, got an offer over asking.
So there you go.
There you
Proof
go.
of the pudding.
It's basically, people couldn't envision the motion. So when you're thinking, okay, that cost that it would take me to do is going to be $500, you have to think for most first-time home buyers, they usually times that by 5 or 10. Mm-hmm. So they go, oh, that's, in their head, that's not $500. That's basically $5,000.
Yeah. And you also, I mean, I think to that point, that seems like a little thing, is what you're trying to say, right? But also, like, I remember one time I was looking at a property and it had a loose door handle. Yeah. And it just kind of makes you feel like, well, these people aren't taking care of this place. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this place isn't being taken care of. Yeah. So what else is that I'm not seeing that's not going on? Which is why, as a buyer, you always do get an inspection. You know? But it's those little things. It's the first impression when you first walk in the door. And you're right. When you walk in, I can tell you, and I've always been nice to my realtors and letting them know. If I walk in, it's not there. If it's a no, we're out. Yeah. We turn around and walk right out. Because there's no point.
Well,
right?
There are some people that will sell themselves on the property, right? But for the most part, people are going to basically say yes or no, right? Yep. If this is mine, even if it's maybe out of their budget, they'll say, oh my gosh, this is the property I can see myself into.
Right.
it goes back to the idea, right? So there's difference between small things and small things, right? No property is perfect, just like no person is perfect, right? But you want to make sure that property is perfect, just like that person is perfect for you, right? So you're gonna leave some small things out of the property because everyone wants to feel like they won something, right? So if they do an inspection, and mind you, inspectors get paid to find things wrong about the property.
True.
Right? So if you fix this small thing, they're going to find another small thing over there. Right? So you're almost allowing the inspector to find things that you're probably willing to take care of anyways.
That's an interesting theory.
Right? I mean, because now you go, okay, well, and most people feel like they want to feel like they won something, right? So if there's things that you're going to take care of anyways, right? Now they go, well, I want this, this, and this. And you go,
so you're saying as a seller, don't get the inspection, let them get the inspection. Do the repairs that they ask you to do. Don't do the ones that you think you need to do. Do the ones that they ask you to do because then they feel like they're getting something from you.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be the same spend. It may be different items, though, that stick out to them. Hey, I don't like the fact that that water heater is 10 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, for the most part, those
whatever.
items are, I mean, it's not, you have to think of the emotional items compared to the analytical items, if that makes sense,
point.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, most of the analytical stuff is going to come when you're actually under contract. The emotional stuff is going to come basically when you're looking at the property.
True.
Right?
So one is you know, you emote immediately, and then analysis takes place over time as your emotions settle.
Exactly.
And that's basically the phase of the transaction. So emotions run high in the beginning, and then they taper off, and it becomes more logic based.
Now you have to do these kind of tactics and things. You have to make sure that your realtor is aware of what the value you have on your property, because if they're devaluing your property and you're not getting maximum value, it really doesn't matter because now you basically lost money on the table, right? So you want to make sure that your realtor's on board and is aware of what the value that you're offering this property, so you don't lose money on the table. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, they need to definitely be aware and on board with the strategy.
Yeah.
They got to understand the whole purpose behind it.
Exactly.
Because what you're saying is also, it's appetizing for sellers to hear that, to be honest with you. You say, you know what? Don't make those repairs. Let's present the house well, get it on the market, and then let's see what the buyers want.
Yeah.
You know, let's find out what they actually want, put the deal together midstream when people are a little bit more committed. You know, we can give them exactly what they want instead of trying to guess up front. I think that makes a lot of sense.
But again, don't go off. Don't put something there that they're gonna have to use their imagination on. Right? I mean, it goes back to what we just talked about, right? The emotional compared to analytical. So it's really a balancing act, but sitting down with your realtor that you plan to work with and figuring out a game plan and talking it over with them, saying, hey, these are the things I'm thinking about. What do you think? When should I do them? Should I do them now? Should I do them when we're there, when we're under contract? Or how should we put this together? But having an understanding with your person and making sure they're on board with the strategy, and it will save you time and money. Because if you're looking to, let's say you're looking to sell right now, but you go, I can't sell right now because I have to take care of X, Y, and Z. Do you really?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Yeah, because a lot of times people will say that. I remember someone on our show back in the day when this listing, and they said, I'll have the house ready to list after I put this new gate in.
Yeah.
Brand new. There was no gate there before. We're putting in a gate, which who knows if a buyer wants a gate or not. Yeah. You know, it was in Mount Helix. It's already private. Yeah. So I said, how much is that gate going to cost? Yeah. 10 grand. Yeah. You might want to hold off on that. Kind of the point of the show. Yeah. So we can actually get you some advice on what to do. You know, so people will get things in their head. Well, if I just had this, maybe it's because another house they saw that sold and it had a gate. And so they go, oh, if we got a gate, we can get that price. But buyers don't look at things that way. Very rarely do buyers scour the houses that have already sold, right? Unless they've just been, you know, careening that market for so long that they happen to catch it. Yeah. But rarely do buyers look at that. They look at the houses that are for sale. Yeah. That's what they're interested in. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense to do it that way. What do you think is a good investment? I mean, besides paint, you know, people are always asking this question. Yeah. Like, what should I do to the home that is worth the investment up front?
It's a simple, I mean, it goes to the idea of how much money you're going to want to put into it, right? I mean, the basic stuff are going to probably ring true for everyone, right? It's basically open concept, natural light. Crazy is that a light coat of paint can make it feel like there's more natural light in the property, right?
For real.
So it's walking to the property as a buyer would be, and it's really difficult when you own the property because you get emotionally invested in the property, but it's walking in as a buyer, walking the property and see what you see and see what you feel, right? If it's enclosed, that's not gonna sell that much. A trick to it, right, of saying that this is very kind of open, right, is if you can see from the door to like the backyard. That's one easy way to make it feel that it's more open.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's small things like that, but walking in as a traditional buyer and trying to keep your emotions separate. If you can't do it, someone else, right, and walking in there and just counting down from 5 or 6 and just seeing what you're feeling and what you see.
Do you ever think it's a good idea for sellers to pretend they're a buyer and go look at the competition?
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, also talking. I mean, if you're going to open houses, I mean, talking to those realtors that are there and getting their feedback. I mean, a surprising thing people look at, and I know you probably get this all the time, is the difference between one agent and the next agent, right? That now I want to say it's about 50%, right, that have at least done one piece of business. But about 6 months ago, it was only, I think it was like 30% of realtors did one piece of business in the last year.
Wow.
Right? It was something ridiculously crazy where you're just like, oh my gosh, so not every realtor is the same. I know it's mind-blowing right there. But just talking to the different realtors and asking them about the property, what they know of the property, get their feedback, and then having a list of questions that you want out of your realtor.
Right.
Right? Or how do you want them to present it? What are they going to do to market the property? Right? How are they going to get people to the property? How are they going to make people aware? And something to think about too, and this is in the holiday times of 2021, right? If you look across the board last month in October, we were at about 101 across the board, a list of sold.
Yep.
Right? Now, if you look at about 3 months ago, we were about 104. Right? That was 104 for detached. 100 for condos, it was I think 102 something, a little bit there. But if you go breaking down each scenario, we're about 101 for most aspects of it. Townhomes, condos, under basically 900,000. So be aware of that when you're listing your property, right? You have it listed for here, but where are you trying to get to?
Right. That's the key, right? And you may use the listing price as a strategy, as part of your marketing strategy, to get you where you want to go. And that's where you really just have to trust your agent. You have to let them execute the strategy. Don't get in the way. I know and it's hard not to. It's really, really hard. But if you are hiring an agent to sell your home, trust them. Let them work the strategy.
But vet them. Vet them, trust them. Vet them, trust
Yes.
them.
Don't hire them until you trust them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and trust can be given easy by some people, and some people don't vet. But I would say vet, call, I mean, see what they're going to do. If they're saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to basically do the 3 Ps of real estate, put it on the MLS, I mean, put a sign on the property, and basically, and pray that it sells. Well, that's not what you want, right? You want them to be prospecting. You want them to be sending out mailers. You know what I mean? You want them to be marketing the property and telling other agents about your property.
Yeah, absolutely. Networking the property is important in this market, and it always has been. San Diego is a smaller real estate world universe than people would realize.
Oh yeah.
And it's important to network and to make connections and to go to the broker pitch and to do all that stuff. Yeah. So I think this has been some really good new stuff, man, to think about with regard to this. And I think it's perfect timing for all the people who want to take advantage of the high prices right now and sell their home. Vinnie, thank you so much for coming in, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great to see you, brother. Hey, share this with your friends. Let's help make them smarter than everyone else.